Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be sharing how to make a simple layered macrame wall hanging. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell for notifications as I do post macrame tutorials and upcycle DIYs each week. Alright, let's get started. You can find all of the materials that I used to create this wall hanging on the online shop. It is the Coastal Seaside Macrame DIY Kit and comes with a PDF instructional booklet and step-by-step instructions, as well as a 6mm recycled cotton string and 3-ply 5mm rope, a handcrafted clay bead, and art yarns that I personally love to use on my own projects. You can check all of this out in the online shop at cactusladycreation.com. To set up your project, you can use the S-hooks that are in the kit, such as a clothing rod like this one that I have here, or the back of a chair or door to hold your piece in place as you work. Take the wood dowel and place it onto the S-hooks, and we will mount all of our cords onto this dowel. Now we will take this gorgeous dark blue 6mm recycled cotton string and cut 5 cords that are about 102 inches or 259 centimeters long each. To begin, mount one of the 6mm strings to the dowel using a lark's head knot. So fold that cord in half and find the center. Then bring that folded cord over the top of the dowel from front to back, creating a loop in the back of the dowel. Next, bring those ends of the cord through that loop. And pull the ends to secure that cord to the dowel, creating the lark's head knot. Now go ahead and mount one more cord to the dowel using the lark's head knot, folding it in half and placing it over the dowel. Then bringing those two ends through that loop. Now we have 2 strings mounted, making 4 cords total hanging from the dowel. And we will take that leftmost cord and place it to the side. And also go ahead and take that rightmost cord and place it to the side as well. Next, we will create the semi-circle design in the middle of the piece. And to do so, we will work a series of double half-hitch knots, which is a 2-part knot where we use a simple overhand knot to tie the working cords around the standing cords to create lines in our design. The standing cord is the cord that remains still and straight, while the working cord will be used to move around the standing cords to create the knot. The standing cord is on the left, and the working cord is on the right. And we will go ahead and tie that right working cord around the left standing cord, wrapping it around once and bringing it to the left as we do so. Then we will take that same cord and wrap it around again, making sure to bring that through the loop this time and take that knot all the way up. As you pull it all the way through, it's nice and secure now and completes that double half-hitch knot. Now I will show you how to tie it again. Bring that right cord down, and it is now the new working cord. So let's take that cord and wrap it around that standing cord on the left once, and then wrap it around again, bringing it through that loop. And bringing it all the way up, tying and securing that double half-hitch knot. To complete the first row, we will mount this end of the standing cord to the dowel with a lark's head knot. That's a little different from the first one that I showed you earlier. To create it, send that end over the top of the dowel from front to back, leaving a little loop in front of the dowel and the long tail on the back. Continue with that long end, bringing it through that loop from back to front, and pull it all the way through. Wrapping it completely around the dowel. Now cross that long end over the beginning of that cord that we just wrapped around, and cross it over from left to right. Then bring it under and wrap it around the dowel again, leaving a little loop in front of the dowel. And lastly, take that end and bring it through that loop from front to back, and this will complete that lark's head knot. Pull the end all the way through and bring that left cord back down. Now we just completed that first double half-hitch knot row. Now we will work another row of double half-hitch knots from right to left this time. So go ahead and mount another 6mm cord to the right of our work with a lark's head knot, and then bring that rightmost cord to the side and out of the way. Next, that cord to its left is now the standing cord, and all of the cords to the left of that cord are now the working cords, and those will be tied around this standing cord. So working from right to left this time, go ahead and tie 4 double half-hitch knots, and I will show you this in real time. We are going to take that next cord to its left and wrap it around that standing cord, bringing it to the right this time. And then wrapping it around again and being mindful to bring it through that loop, which will complete the double half-hitch knot. Then move on to the next working cord and continue across the row. And when you get to the end, we'll tie that end of the cord to the dowel using a lark's head knot. Bring that end over the dowel from front to back, and wrapping that end around the dowel and through the space between the cord and the semicircle. cross that end over the cord from right to left, and then continue with that cord, bringing it under and around the dowel again, and then through that loop in front of the dowel. And this will secure the cord to the dowel with that lark's head knot. Then bring the right cord back down, and that is the second row of double half hitch knots. Now we will create another row of double half hitch knots. To do so, mount another 6mm string to the dowel on the left this time with the lark's head knot, and we will work this row from left to right this time. Continue by placing that leftmost cord to the side and out of the way. And then with that cord to its right, it's now the standing cord. And all of the other cords are the working cords. Continue with working from left to right and tie 3 double half hitch knots. After this third double half hitch knot, you might notice that there is a little gap in our work. So to fill this gap, we will mount a 6mm string to the standing cord using a reverse lark's head knot. To do so, fold this cord in half at the center, then place that center over the standing cord from back to front, creating a loop in front of the cord. Now bring those 2 ends through that loop and pull to tighten, creating the reverse lark's head knot. Continue now across the row, working 3 more double half hitch knots. And then mount that standing cord to the dowel using the lark's head knot alternative method that I showed you before to mount that end to the dowel. Now we have created a semicircle with 3 double half hitch knot rows. Next, we will create a second layer for our design, and to do this, we will use 5mm 3-ply rope that is in the kit, and cut 8 ropes that are 88 inches or 223 centimeters long each. Then go ahead and mount them to the dowel using a lark's head knot. Mount 4 to the left of the semicircle and 4 to the right of the semicircle design. Now we will work 4 square knots across the row, and for this demonstration, we will be working from left to right. Each of the 3-ply cords will also easily unravel while you're working with them, so to prevent that from happening, I like to tie a knot at the end of our rope. Now working from left to right, we will start with the 4 cords on the left. The outer cords are the working cords which will move and be used to tie, and the inner cords are the standing cords that will remain still and tied around. To begin, place that left working cord over the 2 middle standing cords. Then place that right working cord over the left. Continue with that right working cord, bringing it behind the 2 middle standing cords, and then through that space between the left working and standing cords from back to front. Pull on the ends to bring that all the way up, and this is the first part of the knot. To complete it, bring that working cord over the 2 middle standing cords, then place that left working cord over the right. Continue with that left working cord, bringing it behind the 2 middle standing cords and through the space between the left working and standing cords from back to front. Bring that knot all the way up, and this will complete the square knot. Now we will move on to the next 4 cords and work another square knot. Bring that left working cord over the 2 middle standing cords and place that right working cord over the left. Then continue with that right working cord, bringing it behind the 2 middle standing cords and through the space between the left working and standing cords from back to front. Bring that all the way up, and then we'll do the same in the opposite way now to complete this knot. Bring that right working cord over the 2 middle standing cords, and take that left working cord over the right. Continue with that left working cord, bring it behind the 2 middle standing cords and through that space between the right working and standing cords from back to front. Pull it all the way up and complete that second square knot. Now let's skip the middle section of the semicircle and work 2 more square knots across the row, and I will continue to show you this in real time. Now we have our first row of square knots. And for the second row, I'll show you how to create a row of alternating square knots. To do so, working from left to right, skip the first 2 cords on the left, then work a square knot. As you do this, you will see that this connects the 2 square knots in the first row, which begins our alternating row. Skip that semicircle design, and then do the same on the other side, skipping those 2 cords on the left and working your square knot, and then skipping those last 2 cords, completing the second row of square knots. For row 3, work another row of square knots across the row. To do this, we will use all of the cords and work 4 square knots across the row, just the same as we did with the first row. Then for row 4, skip the first 2 cords and work a row of alternating square knots, working 1 square, skipping the next 2 cords, skipping the semicircle, then skipping the first 2 cords on the other side, working another square knot, and skipping those last 2 cords in that row. For row 5, work 4 square knots across the row. And for row 6, work an alternating row with 3 square knots this time. So skip those first 2 cords, work your square, then work another square, which will connect the 2 panels of square knots on each side with a square knot, and leave about an inch of distance between this row and the previous row. Then work another square knot to the right and skip those last 2 cords in the row. For row 7, work a row of 4 square knots this time across the row. And for row 8, work 3 square knots once more, skipping the first 2 and last 2 cords in that row. Then for row 9, we will only be working 2 square knots across the row, so skip those first 4 and last 4 cords, working 2 square knots in the middle of the design. And for the 10th and final row, work 1 square knot in the middle, skipping the first 6 and last 6 cords for this row, making 1 square knot in the middle of the design. Now we've completed the square knot section, and I like to sew a bead onto that middle bottom square knot in the design, and I'm using the bead and thread that come in the kit. I like to bring that needle through the back of the piece and through that square knot, and into the bead, and then bring that needle back into that square knot from front to back. I like to thread it through a few times, and then to secure that thread, I just trim it on the back of the piece and tie a double knot, just a regular overhand knot, and then trim those final ends. And now the bead is secure. Now you can go ahead and trim this piece as you like. And remember to save your scraps for other projects and check out some of the scrap projects that I have on this channel. And if you like fringe in your design, go ahead and unravel the ends. The finished length of my project is 18 inches or about 45.7 centimeters long. And you can also use a fine-tooth comb to comb out the bottom of the fringe as you like. And this biodegradable comb is also included in the DIY kit. To add yarn to your design for extra fringe, you can trim it and mount it to the spaces between the square knots on the side of the design using a lark's head knot. I personally like the look of the reverse lark's head knot to do this, but play around with different textures and colors of yarn as well, and you can also use scraps from the portion we just cut to do this. And this is what the project looks like now that it is complete. And now you have a lovely layered macrame wall hanging that you can hang wherever you like. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please don't forget to give it a like and also subscribe and click the bell. And if you want to see more macrame tutorials, feel free to check out the macrame playlist right here. Thank you for watching and see you next time.